Welcome to this video introducing the Reformed Entry-Level Certificate in English to centres in England and in Wales. I'm Kirsten Wilcock, Subject Officer for English at WJEC, and we'll be talking through the Reformed qualification. Given the changes to qualifications in England and Wales, WJEC thought the time was right to reform the Entry-Level Certificate in English, a qualification that has always provided an alternative pathway to those learners working below the lowest attainment at GCSE. The assessment structure is now more closely aligned with the GCSE qualifications, but still offers a supported route through the English curriculum. Entry-level qualifications are graded at Entry 1, Entry 2 or Entry 3, which broadly equate to the old national curriculum levels 1, 2 and 3 respectively. The standard expected at entry level, therefore, is below that of Level 1 qualifications, for example, GCSE grades D to G. The Reformed Entry-Level Certificate is comprised of three compulsory components. Component 1, an examination weighted at 25%. Component 2, 4 30-minute topic tests. Component 3, 2 two-hour practical assessments. In this video, we will be looking closely at Component 1, the examination. There are two sections to the examination which are both equally weighted. The kinds of reading materials and writing tasks here will form a solid foundation for progression to other qualifications. Section A is a non-literary reading comprehension. Section B tests functional writing. In Section A, key reading skills will be assessed: retrieving information, identifying and summarising main points, interpreting information, and the ability to make simple deductions and inferences. We will now take a look at the different types of questions candidates may encounter in testing reading skills in the examination. In Section A, there will be 2 or 3 texts, and the first will always be straightforward. The demand of the question set will similarly increase as candidates work through the paper. Here you can see an example of a retrieving information question aligned with the text. This slide exemplifies the type of question that may be set to test candidates' ability to identify and summarise main points. Where more than one separate piece of information or points are required, candidates will see bullet points to help set out their answer. They do not need to use their own words, but just select the appropriate points from the text. For interpreting information, here we can see the candidates need to understand and make connections between the two parts of each instruction. Multiple choice questions and matching questions here have been included to minimise the amount of writing candidates need to do when their reading skills are being tested. In making simple deductions or inferences in the Reformed Entry-Level Certificate qualification, we will focus on candidates' ability to contextualise meaning and to use verbal reasoning strategies. We can see here this multiple choice question tests the verbal reasoning skills of candidates. They are not expected to know the meaning of the word minor, but to go back to the text and work out its meaning from its context. Section B of the exam tests functional writing. There will be one short task and one extended writing task, both based on everyday uses of English. There are many different types of text that may be included here, such as forms, emails, letters, notices, reports, articles, messages, and so on. Here candidates will be tested in their ability to give opinions, persuade, or inform. This is an example of the short task from the sample assessment materials, and there is no assessment of the accuracy of writing in this 5-mark task. Here you can see all 5 marks are allocated to content. The next slide shows us what the mark scheme will look like. Preparing candidates for functional writing does mean that they will need to provide details required. Due to the number of vulnerable young people who take entry-level certificate qualifications, candidates do not need to share their own details, but those of the school or college they attend would be fine. Therefore, it is worth ensuring that candidates know how to set out a postal address, an email address, or a telephone number. For the extended writing task, candidates will need to develop and sustain their writing in greater detail than the first writing task. In the sample assessment materials, you will see we have provided an address for candidates to use, being mindful of data protection. The extended writing task is marked out of 15, with 10 marks for content and 5 marks for the accuracy of writing. Each bullet point, as you work through the assessment bands, reflects the same 4 aspects: clarity and detail, development and purpose, readers' needs and style, and structure and organisation. These are helpful in underpinning the teaching of writing. Here we have part of the written accuracy assessment criteria. As with the banded levels for assessing content, the bullet points focus on the same aspects of accuracy throughout the 5 bands. Those are vocabulary, sentence structure, punctuation, and spelling. The advantage of having a separate accuracy writing mark means that candidates eligible for a scribe could make use of them and have the marks attributed to spelling and punctuation deducted from their total. Further guidance on this will be available from WJEC's Special Consideration Team in the autumn of 2017. Here you can see the criteria for Band 5 writing. The Band 5 criteria is equivalent to Level 1 performance. Whilst a Level 1 cannot be graded on this qualification, we thought this would be a helpful diagnostic tool for centres to see when a candidate may be ready to progress to a higher English qualification. Should you have any questions regarding Component 1, the written examination for the reformed entry-level certificate qualification, please do contact WJEC colleagues. To gain a further understanding of the fully reformed entry-level certificate in English qualification, please view the further 2 videos in this series.